Right, last week, as I mentioned, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a religious viewpoint case that involved the city of Boston's rejection of a private flag in a public forum, supposedly open to all applicants, merely because it was referred to by the applicant as a Christian flag. Joining me now to tell us more about the case and how the arguments went is Liberty Counsel founder and chairman Matt Staver, who presented the oral arguments before the Supreme Court last week. Matt, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to be with you.
All right. I mentioned the fact that over the last 12 years, the city has flown 284 flags over the city. There on this third flagpole that's a public forum. Only one has been rejected. It was from your client. Tell us about it.
Yeah, after 12 years, 284 approvals, no denials, usually no review. One word caught the attention of a Boston official, the word Christian, on the application. The flag itself was not the problem. But for the word Christian, if you called it anything but Christian, call it Camp Constitution flag, they even suggested, and the same flag would have flown for an hour with no incident at all. But it was the word Christian on the application. In fact, Boston for 12 years created an open public forum for a wide variety of private expression, both on their city plaza, and they also had 4 flagpoles, 3 in front of the city hall, 1 on the side of city hall. One of those flagpoles was regularly used for private speech, and they would take down one of the flags and they would raise up a private speaker's flag during an event that would happen at the same time. So Camp Constitution, September 2017, wanted to celebrate Constitution Day, federally recognized day. And as part of that, they also wanted to raise the Christian flag so that they would recognize the Christian heritage of Boston and the Commonwealth. You have John Adams, you have, his son, you also have his second cousin, Samuel Adams, the 6th president of the United States was the John Adams' son. John Adams himself was first vice president, second president, and so forth. So these were very influential people in our founding era, and they were Christians, including he wanted to recognize the Christian community. So on the application, 284 approvals, no denials over 12 years, should be no problem. But one word, the word Christian, is what caused the problem. And then they told Hal Shurtleff, the founder of Camp Constitution, if you called it anything else, call it Camp Constitution flag, whatever, just don't use the word Christian, we'll approve it. But that word Christian stopped the application from being approved. And Boston dug its heels in. And they ended up saying, well, this would be an establishment of religion if we allowed it, and it's government speech, so we can censor whatever we want to. Even though this forum continued to remain open, it's not open for you. It's not open for any Christian viewpoint. And we lost twice at the lower court, lost twice at the Court of Appeals, to my surprise. And the Supreme Court saw the egregiousness of this case, took it. And we had a great oral argument last week, Tony. I think we have a supermajority, if not a 9-0 decision, I think, coming down the pipe. Even Justices Kagan and Breyer asked the city why they didn't settle the case after they made this mistake. Why did they not just settle it and move on instead of defending it as government speech?
So listening to the oral arguments, it did sound very favorable. What could be the ramifications of a victory, not just for your client, but could this have implications elsewhere?
Oh, yeah. It's not just about a flag, whether you're going to raise a Christian flag on a flagpole, because most people don't do that or even have the opportunity to do it. It's really in the line of the good news clubs, the Lamb's Chapel decision, and the free speech in the public forum. If we lose, the consequences would be that places like after-school clubs that open up the facilities for a wide variety of secular meetings could slam the door on good news clubs, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Bible clubs, common library or public rooms where people gather for public meetings, various kinds of private activities could be slammed on people who have a Christian viewpoint. The implications of winning is that that bigotry and that censorship that continues to happen, and they falsely raise, well, it's the Establishment Clause, it's a church-state issue, that can ultimately be jettisoned. And I'm praying that that's what this court will do. I think we had favorable reception from a wide spectrum of justices, but obviously we have to wait for the final decision that'll be sometime between now and the end of June.
Quite significant what may be coming out of Boston. They had hoped to silence Christian but now they may open the door for that message to be flying all across America.
Absolutely. You know, it's just like Governor Newsom. He wanted to silence Christians, and ultimately he got 5-4 and 6-3 decisions against him at the U.S. Supreme Court. And I think Boston really wanted to silence Christians. They were really adamant against Christian viewpoints. And in fact, what may ultimately happen is God can turn what appeared to be this attempt for evil to silence Christian viewpoints into something incredibly good for all Christians and Christian viewpoints and other viewpoints around the country, to literally open up that opportunity of equal treatment across the board.
But only when you have clients willing to go to court to stand up for their constitutional rights, and law firms and lawyers like yourself willing to defend them in the courts. That's the difference.
Now, that's the big difference, because, you know, so many people, they back away. I don't want to fight. But you know what? It's not just you that's at stake. It's not only you, but it's the people after you and the precedent that it could set by walking away from this fight. The fight,
Absolutely.
The battle, the issues are too big to ignore and walk away.
Well, Matt Staver, thank you for fighting them. And this is good news. We'll be watching it very closely, waiting for that decision from the Supreme Court.
Thank you, Tony. Good to be with you.